that can be an upcharge. It will help you make the most guided decision when pricing your items. Hi everyone, Brittany here from Just Be Crafty. If you're new here, welcome, and if not, thank you so much for coming back. Since posting my video a few months ago on how to pick knit and crochet items to sell in your online shop and an in-person market, I've gotten a lot of questions on how to actually price those items. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. And on a side note, it's raining really hard outside. I don't know if the mic can pick it up, but there's really nothing I can do about it. Anyway, I thought I'd just let you know. So how do I price my knit and crochet items? It's not really a cut and dry answer, and it's going to be different for everyone. But despite your price point, there's a few factors we all need to consider when pricing our items. And the first one is figuring out exactly how much your finished item costs. So to help us with that is today's sponsor, which is Inventora. Inventora is an online platform, and it helps you figure out exactly how much your finished knit or crochet item can cost. It will help you make the most guided decision when pricing your items. For today's example's sake, I'm going to walk us through on how I would go about pricing a crochet pumpkin. And if you're interested in making this cute little guy, I'll have the pattern linked in the description box below. But anyway, let's hop onto the computer and I will show you exactly what I'm talking about.
All right, so if you go to inventora.com, it takes you to the Inventora website, and if you click Get Started, you can select which plan you want to do. Everything we're doing today is part of the free version, though I do have access to the business version. The business version has a lot of really cool extra things like advanced reports, shop integrations, all sorts of cool stuff. But today we're just going to look at the stuff that's on the free version. So if you click login, it'll have you create an account. I've already done that. So it took me to the materials page. Going back to our crochet pumpkin example and how we would go about pricing that, Inventora is a really awesome place where you can basically track all of your inventory. Let's say you have a knit or crochet business where you sell finished knit and crochet items. Well, in here you can track all of your skeins of yarn, your crochet hooks, tags, boxes, all that stuff you would enter into the Inventora materials, and then you can also go in and add products. And what is really cool is when you add in your materials, then you go in and create a product. And when you make a product in here, you go through and you add materials that you added to your inventory. So it automatically deducts your amounts. It calculates the exact price of what your item costs. So that is what's going to help us a lot today. This is really great for any sort of handmade business or really other businesses as well. So if you click onto the materials tab, we're going to click add material, and then we're going to start by just adding all the materials that it takes to make a crochet pumpkin. Let's start with the yarn. And that yarn that I used, it's unfortunately discontinued, but this is for our example's sake. It's Lion brand, color made easy. So I'm just going to put that in. And let's say the color is carrot. So I'm going to add that into the name too. So material type, it's sourced from supplier. I bought it at the store, made by me. So I bought it at the store. So I'm saying supplier. Current stock level. So this is where you would put in how many skeins of that particular color you have. So you can say pieces. And then if you click on that drop down arrow, it gives you a whole bunch of other basically unit types. I personally think it's easiest to go by yards. Whatever you measure your yarn in or kind of go by, some people like to say in grams. I'm going to go by yards. And my current stock level is, so let's say I have 3 balls of that yarn and each ball is 150 yards. I am just going to multiply 3 skeins times 150 yards. Okay, so that would mean that I have 450 yards total in my inventory. And so that'll be helpful. Doing it this way instead of going by like pieces or skeins, it's easier to go by yards or grams or some other measurable way so you know exactly how much of your yarn is depleting. And that way you can know exactly how much money you are spending per making your product. So minimum stock level, you don't have to put this number. This is so that if you just want to be alerted when you get down to a certain amount. So let's say I want to be alerted when I only have 1 skein left. So I'm just going to put 150 yards because that's how much one skein is. And then when I go back into my inventory, once I get to that number or below it, then it'll be highlighted in red. So I know, okay, I need to get more of that color yarn. And then here, this is cost per yard. There's this really nice calculate tab that if you click on, it'll help you figure out how much your yarn is costing per yard. So let's just fill this out. So how many yards did you buy? Let's say I bought one skein, so it's 150 yards. And then it's asking how much we paid for it. And this is not including tax or shipping. So you want to look at your receipt, and let's say before tax, it was $3.99. And then how much did you pay in tax? So let's say we paid, I don't know, 75 cents in tax. And then this asks, how much did you pay for in shipping? And I bought this from Joann's, so I didn't pay any shipping. Down here, you can see the calculated cost per yard is 3 cents. So if you go ahead and hit save. Okay, so now we have cost per yard, and it's 3 cents. So down here, this is the supplier. So this is where you can enter in whatever store you purchased your yarn from. So I got mine from Joann's. So I'm gonna put that and then just type it and hit enter. And that creates a category, which is super nice. So now when you go in and add another material that you also got from Joann's, it'll pop up in this little drop down. And so same with category, I'm going to categorize this as the weight of the yarn. This is a number 5 bulky weight yarn. So I'm going to create that category. So you just type it in, hit enter, and then down here you put when you ordered it. So, you know, whenever you purchased it, let's say I purchased it, I don't know, August 3rd. So we'll put that in there. And then this is the SKU. You know, you can put that in there if you want. And then notes, you know, just whatever note. This yarn is super cute. So any note that you want to put in there, go ahead and type that and then hit save. And now you can see this as one of the materials. And now I want to show you something really cool. So let's say we have multiple colors in the same type of yarn. All we do, we don't have to type in all that information again. You just click on it and it brings up this window, and then you just hit duplicate. And so see, it says copy here on the end. So we're just going to delete that out, and we're going to delete out the color. And let's say I have the other color that I have is pink. So we'll just put that in there, and then we're just gonna have to add how much we have in stock. So let's say we have 6 skeins of this. So I'm going to say 6 times 150 yards per skein, and that's 900 yards. So that means we have 900 yards total. Minimum stock level, yeah, alert us when we only have 150 left. And then cost per yard, you can go back in here and calculate it out, but if you know it was the same price as the other one, we know that the other one was 0.032 cents. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that here now. So 0.032. Supplier was Joann's, category is still bulky weight, and let's say I purchased it on the same day, August 3rd, and then, you know, whatever note you want to put in, you can add that here as well, and then hit save. Okay, and then this adds it to our inventory. All right, so let's think about what else goes into making a pumpkin. The fiber fill, so yeah, so the filling that we need. Okay, so let's put fiber fill. You could put the brand if you like as well. I would suggest getting as specific as possible. And then once again, we're gonna have the current stock. Each bag that I have has 32 ounces, and I have 2 of those. So I'm just gonna multiply 32 times 2, which is 64. So I'm gonna say I have 64 ounces. And then minimum stock level, let's say we want to be alerted when we're down to just 1 bag, let's say 32 ounces. So here we can again calculate our cost. And so how many ounces did we buy? So 1 bag is 32 ounces. How much did you pay for the material? We paid $6.99 before tax. How much was tax? Let's say, I don't know, tax was $125. And then how much did you pay in shipping? I bought it in person at Joann's, so I'm not gonna add that. And down here we can see cost per ounce is 26 cents. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit save. And then now supplier, we've already added Joann's as a supplier category. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click there. And then category type. I am going to just put this as a fiber fill. and then hit enter. And there we go. And then down here, once again, you can put when you last ordered it. And let's say I bought this, I don't know, July 13th. And then add any notes here. And hit save. All right, so we added our fiber fill. So next is the cinnamon stick. Okay, so we're gonna say name is, let's say McCormick cinnamon stick. Source from supplier, yes. Current stock level, I am going to keep this as pieces. I just think that that's the easiest measurement. And let's say one bottle has 5 cinnamon sticks. Cinnamon sticks are kind of expensive and you don't get many in one of the little McCormick bottles. I'm sure that you can get this from a craft store, but I usually just typically buy this whenever I go to the grocery store. So let's say I want to know when I only have, I don't know, 1 stick left. Okay, so cost per piece, we're going to go ahead and calculate this out. How many pieces did we buy? We bought 5. How much did we pay? Let's say we paid $5.49, and then we paid about $1.25 in tax. I bought this directly from the store, so there is no shipping, and so here we can see cost per cinnamon stick is $1.35. So we're gonna go ahead and hit save. And this supplier I bought from Wegmans. So I'm adding that, and then category, I'm going to add this to an embellishment category, which could, include the cinnamon sticks, the twine, buttons, any sort of embellishments that you add to your project. And of course you can categorize your stuff however you want. So I'm just gonna hit enter. Let's say we bought that September 5th. Perfect. All right, and then of course add any note here. All right, hit save. Okay, cool. All right, so now we're gonna add our next material, and that is the twine. So I'm just gonna put twine, source from supplier, stock unit type. I'm gonna put this in yards as well. So let's say I have 450 yards, and then minimum stock level, let's say I wanna be alerted when there's 100 yards left. Cost per yard, let's calculate that out. Let's say each one is like 150 yards, and let's say I paid, I don't know, $4.75 tax. Let's say it was $1.03. I bought it at the store, so it's showing that cost per yard is about just under 4 cents. Supplier, I bought this from, let's say, Michael's. Category, this is going to go under embellishment. So now since we already made the embellishment category, we can just select it from down here. And then the order date, let's say I put that on September 1st. Again, you can add your notes, go ahead, hit save. Okay, perfect. All right, so now we have all of the materials entered in for our pumpkin, and now we can go in and make our actual product. So if you want to hit products and then add product. Okay, so we're adding a new product, and let's say this is the crochet pumpkin, and you want to be as specific as possible. So I'm going to put crochet pumpkin, bulky size, in color carrot. So I would suggest getting as specific as possible. Product type, hit the drop down, made by me, sourced by supplier, product bundle. It was made by me, so I'm just going to keep that as it is. And this, I would say, stock unit type, you would want to keep that as pieces. So let's say we have 2 in stock currently, and alert us maybe when we only have 1 left. So down here is batch size. So we can only make 1 crochet pumpkin at a time, right? So batch size is just gonna stay at 1. And now we get to do the fun part, which is selecting the materials, and now it'll calculate the cost as to exactly how much it'll take to make our pumpkin. So if you hit the drop down, and let's start with the yarn. So the Lion Brand Color Made Easy in carrot, and let's say we used about 85 yards of yarn. And if you're a little confused as to how you know how many yards you would have used in your yarn, for instance, the pumpkin, you are going to crochet a little rectangle and you're going to have like 2 long tails. You'll just want to take that little crocheted piece and weigh it, and then from there convert it into yards, and then you know exactly how much yarn you've used for your project. So that way you can really get down to the nitty-gritty as to how much you're spending per item. Okay, so the next material, we're going to add a material, and then we're going to do a cinnamon stick. I only use half of a cinnamon stick for mine, so we're only using half. So I'm putting that there. And so see, I calculated that it was 67 cents worth of cinnamon stick. I'm going to add another material, select from the drop down. Now we have fiber fill. So this, once again, once you fill your pumpkin up, I'd go ahead and weigh it and see how much fiber fill you're actually using. So that way you know how much fiber fill you're putting in your pumpkin. So let's say you use 3 ounces of fiber fill in your pumpkin. That's 77 cents worth of fiber fill. And then lastly, we're going to add the twine. And let's say the little bow requires 2 yards of twine. So now we have the complete cost breakdown of how much it costs us to make our crochet pumpkin. And there's also other stuff that you may need to add as well, such as like price tag. You'd want to add that in there. So you'd add that to your materials, of course. You just want to make sure that you are accounting for absolutely all costs incurred for your handmade item. Okay, so we get the grand total of $4.21. So we're going to go ahead and hit save. Now this window pops up. It says, did you already make these products? Yes, I already made them and adjusted material levels. Or you can hit no, please adjust material in stock with me. So we're going to hit no because we did not. Each time you would adjust your product level, it will automatically adjust how much stock you have left. So that's really, really great. So you can stay on top of all of your materials and you know exactly when you need to buy more. And that way you're not also overbuying as well. Going to go ahead and create product. Oh, and I didn't add category. Actually, let's go back in here and let's edit. Okay, in category, let's call this crochet holiday home decor. Okay, hit enter. Next, this is where you put in the total cost for your product. And that's what we're talking about in this video today. We're not going to enter anything here because we're going to talk about a few other things that I want you to consider when pricing your handmade items. But if you hover over this little I button and you click on this link right here, it'll take you to a really great blog post with some more tips on how to price your products. So that's super helpful, and I do suggest you checking that out as well. But since we don't have our total cost, and this is what we're talking about today, I'm not going to put a total price in here just yet. So we're going to hit save. And so that is how you would add a product into your inventory. And so now there's also other windows where you can enter in your orders, purchases, and then there are also some really great reporting features. I know there are some more reports that are available to me because I have the business plan, but like here it tells you what your inventory value is and a lot of other great cost breakdowns that are super beneficial into keeping your business legit and organized.
So now we know exactly how much it costs us to make our pumpkin. Now we need to move on to the next factor in figuring out price, and that is how long it takes us to make and how much payment we basically want to charge per hour for our labor. So this goes back to my last video where I talk about how to pick items, and I talk heavily about picking items that take you an hour or less, just because there are so many hours in a day. And, like for example, a sweater could take you upwards of 40 hours, whereas this pumpkin could take me about an hour or less to make. So in one day, I could potentially make 8 pumpkins, but in one day of, a full day's work, 8 hours, that's like maybe a sleeve of a sweater, probably not even. So that's definitely something that's super important that you want to consider. So how do you charge your hourly rate? Well, that's going to be different for everyone, right? So for example's sake, let's say you charge $20 an hour. So once you consider exactly how much it costs in materials to make your pumpkin, and then your labor, you want to add those two numbers together. So next you want to look at, are you allowing any room for customization? So any type of customization, that can be an upcharge. So are you letting your customer pick out the color, or stitching on someone's monogram or their initials or something like that? That charge can be up to you, but it's definitely something to consider when figuring out your whole price. So at this point, we figured out exactly how much it costs us to make the pumpkin. We're adding on our labor, then we're adding on any customization if applicable. So now you have your total price. And next, it's time to do a little bit of market research. So I suggest going to shops that are similar to yours, that are selling similar handmade items. So I don't know, other shops that make pumpkins or hats or whatever it is that you're selling. Just kind of research what your competition is doing and, kind of seeing where you fall. Do you feel like you can go a little bit higher with your prices? Do you feel like your branding is really good and, you want to have more of a luxury line? Can you go a little bit higher? Or do you want to really make it more economical? It really depends on what you're going for. So those are all of my tips on pricing your knit and crochet items for sale. If you have any tips that I have not shared today, be sure to let me know in the comments below and share with other makers in the community. I really hope you found today's video helpful. If you did, please let me know by giving the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already and would like to, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!